On today's video, we'll discuss Fetchlands, Shocklands, Pathways, and Triomes. Where are they headed? What are they up to? It's quite interesting. Stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome back. MTG Moxman here. If you're a returning viewer to my channel, welcome back everyone. If you're a new viewer who's just found me, welcome aboard. Give us a thumbs up and a subscribe. Looking forward to talking with you. So today's conversation is pretty interesting. It's going to revolve around the fact that all these land cycles I'm going to discuss today are all having massive sales. I'm not talking like an average of like, one or two a day. No. In the hundreds of sales every day. So when we're talking Pathways, which is a new land cycle, Triomes, which again is a new land cycle, versus well-established land cycles such as Shocklands and Fetchlands, all of these sales have had massive upticks. Don't believe me? Just check out MTG Goldfish. Just pick one, look at the prices, and notice they all have a slight up bar across the board. It's very interesting to see. Now, our first one I'm going to show you today, we are talking about Pathways, which are a new land cycle. I love them. I love the artwork for them. I think it looks beautiful, and it can really be used in a lot of decks, which is what all these land cycles are needed for. When you look at Zendikar Rising and, of course, Kaldheim, they're the only sets they're in. There are also two sets that could have short print runs this year. So that's something to keep in mind if you're a collector or investor. If you're a person who wants these lands, they're also the most affordable on the list today. Let me show you. So when we take a look down here, you can see the cheapest one I found, which is the Crag there. $4 Canadian versus the most expensive being $14 for the Dreadbore. Not bad. Now, of course, US prices, $3 US or $10 US. And of course, basically €3 versus, €5, €6. Guys, pretty affordable land cycle to grab. And this is just for the basic version. You could spend more money if you go for like a full art version, full art foil version, which they are beautiful, don't get me wrong. But if you just needed some basic lands here to get into your deck that are Pathways, the cheapest are right there on the screen so you'll know how much you should be paying. Not bad. Not bad at all. And of course, as Pathways being a new land cycle, they're going to take a while still to find their home, to find the right decks they work in, to find the right situations to be used in. Guys, they have no negative drawback. That's the coolest part. It's pretty easy to build a 5-color deck with these bad boys, mixing in a few other land cycles for Commander. Really can ramp up a lot of color decks. Amazing. I love the Pathways. The art got me right away. And I just keep thinking, only in Kaldheim, and again, only in Zendikar Rising. Now, that's the funny thing about most of these. We'll get to that though. Now, when you're taking a look at Shocklands, look how many times Shocklands have been printed. Look at all the sets that are on your screen, from Ravnica Sil, Guild Pact, Ascension, Return to Ravnica, Gatecrash, Dragon's Maze, Zendikar Expeditions, pre-release promos, Guilds of Ravnica, Planeswalker Symbol, blah blah blah, Ravnica Allegiance. You see what I'm talking about. It goes on and on. There is a lot of decks that these Shocklands have been printed in. Ping lands are good, right? Have them come into play tapped, or if you gotta have it, take the damage. Again, established land cycle, been around for a while, and it has been reprinted a lot because we seem to return to Ravnica a lot of times. Now, when you look at the prices though, look how kind of even they are. The cheapest one I found was $20 Canadian for the Sacred Foundry. Most expensive was going to be Breeding Pool, $26 Canadian. Now, $18 in the US versus $24.95, $18 US versus $24.95 US, and of course €8 versus €13. Look how nice, they're fairly tight together. They don't have a massive discrepancy in price, and they're very consistent. It seems to really follow that. But if we don't return to Ravnica again and again and again, eventually these get used up, bought up, because people can just buy them, put them in decks, and forget about them. And when they need new ones, they just buy new ones, which it kind of eventually means these are going to dry up, which will force an uptick. And on MTG Goldfish and some of the sites I checked, you are starting to slightly see it. Even with a price decrease, overall, it's all kind of going up. They're heading in the upward direction, and the sales on these on platforms like eBay are massive. Locally, I couldn't get the figures I really wanted to find out about. They gave me 1 or 2 lands that are selling well, like Sacred Foundry. But overall, the prices are up. So it's something to keep an eye on. People are buying these, and they're buying a lot of them. Now, the funny thing here, okay, Triomes. Triomes are new as well. But I loved when they came out in Lair of the Behemoths for Ikoria because you could put them in everything. There's 3 types, not 2, 3. You can do crazy stuff, and later on in the game when you don't need them, you can cycle them to help you out. I love that. That ability just makes them so much better than the old just tap 3 color lands that we saw, in like Shards of Alara and stuff. It just makes them that much more superior. I love them. I also like the creatures they gave us in Ikoria. But as a new land cycle, again, it's being used in Commander. They're being used in other sets right now, of course, in Standard. But in the long term, if they don't reprint these anytime soon, again, the uptick's going to be there. But they're not that expensive yet. The prices are almost identical for any of the regular version ones. The cheapest ones I could find were all around the same price, which is amazing. $14 Canadian, $8 US, and €5 for almost any of the ones you want to buy. There might be a little bit of variation, and of course that does not include the foils, full art foils, and all that stuff. I'm talking just the basic, cheap versions if you just need them for a deck. You're going to spend a little bit more anytime you want the bling. But if you just want a basic card to fill your deck, this definitely will fill that hole for you. It's pretty nice. But here's a good one for you. Fetchlands. Onslaught, Zendikar, and Khans. Those are the sets that have actually been printed in. Everything else has been promos or special editions or special sets or of course, Ultimate this or Modern 2017. All those sets. They are special. But look how often they're used. Thank God they printed it again in Modern Horizons 2. Thank God it brought the price down a bit. Because they keep going up. Because there's just not enough there's not enough going into circulation. It's really apparent now. As people keep buying them up right now and they're starting to dry, you can just see it. The market just keeps etching up ever so slowly week by week. And what I mean here is when you take a look at this. Marsh Flats, I just reported a little over 2 weeks ago. I think it was like $18. 25 Canadian is the cheapest I could find. $20 in the US, €17. Wow. It's already upticked that much. Now, Scalding Tarn, all right, the cheapest I could find was $50, $40 in the US, or €31. Guys, that's a lot of money. That's not cheap. They're already kind of going up again. And that just shows you how many people want these bad boys and how many people are holding on. Anybody who hoards these things, they know what they're worth in the long term. And they know it takes Wizards years to reprint these things. Now, a lot of people are speculating that they're not going to reprint Fetchlands for a few more years now. I'm not sure. They may have to put it in another set just next year to keep these prices from going too high. Shocklands, same thing. Triomes and Pathways, you might get a year or two before these bad boys really start to rise up. But the real thing I found interesting, guys, was the amount of sales. For Pathways, it's literally hundreds a day just across eBay. Look at the sales for August 4th. It just goes sets of 4, sets of 10, full complete play sets of 4 for a couple $100. It's everywhere. And they just are moving in massive amounts. Then when you look at Triomes, not quite as bad, but still sales everywhere. Because again, Ikoria is going to be short run. Chances are we're going to have Call Time as well as Zendikar be short run. Which means if a lot of boxes don't get open, and Wizards intended them to be open, it means there won't be enough in circulation. So you'll see these cards start to rise up more and more. Fetchlands, they've already started to uptick again. And when Fetchlands start to uptick, it makes it harder for players to get their hands on them. They have to trade a little more. They have to wait a little bit longer. Guys, all these lands are headed in an upward direction. If you take a look at any of the cards I'm naming off, go ahead and look on any of the websites. Take a look at the sales on eBay. Look what's happening. They're all heading in that upward trajectory that's going to make them more expensive. And that's what a lot of speculators are really going on right now, is the fact that, hey, I can hold these knowing Wizards is not going to be printing Pathways in the next year or so. I wouldn't bet on it, would you? And what about Triomes? They just finished a whole bunch of Triomes inside of Ikoria. They're not bringing them around anytime soon. It's at least another year away. At least. And that's if they plan for it right now. With how Wizards plans things and how quick they're moving, I doubt they even contemplated what effect this will have on other formats like Commander. It's something to keep an eye on, because these prices are going to keep rising unless Wizards finds a way to bring the prices down. Because I know myself, I'm not selling any of mine. I'm keeping them all for decks. And I may actually have to buy a few more just so I can have complete play sets of a few I thought I had that I'm missing. How about yourselves out there? Are you missing some? Are you planning on buying some? Or have you been one of the people who's been buying into this as it goes on? I'm very curious to find out how people feel about the market moving this direction. You guys can share those thoughts with me. Hit me up in the comment section. Send me an email. I'm looking forward to talking to everyone. Have a wonderful day. I look forward to seeing everyone tomorrow. Hey guys, thanks a lot to all my patrons out there for their continued support on the channel. It really does make a difference, everyone. I really appreciate it. So I just wanted to say thank you again. I look forward to seeing each and every one of you tomorrow.